All right, we're back with the Dork Age Podcast, episode 5. In this episode, we are going to discuss Black Mirror, Alan Moore, Mario on the iPhone, PS4 Pro, and Slim announcement, Kingsglaive, Jeff Johns in the DC Universe, Deathstroke in the DC Universe, some Mass Effect stuff, and some Doctor Who stuff.
We got a packed show
right here. Yeah, well, we missed a week.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
We took Labor Day off.
Yeah.
And I was sick. So, all right. So, Black Mirror. What the hell is Black Mirror? I've never seen it.
But you've never seen
Black Mirror. You seem to be excited about it.
Okay, but you have Netflix. You can watch all of Black Mirror. I'm just throwing that out there. Really short seasons.
Does anybody really have Netflix, though?
You have access to Netflix. It's really short seasons. There are 3 episodes in the first 2 seasons each. So 7 total episodes.
3 episodes?
Yeah.
So it's like a Sherlock deal. Are they long episodes or?
Yeah,
hour,
I mean, I think
minutes?
they're like an hour and a half, thereabouts. Okay. And then there was a Christmas episode a couple years back with John Hamm. And actually the kid that played Noel, the douchey kid that worked with Shaun in Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, like that guy apparently is like 45 years old now because Shaun of the Dead was 15 years ago.
Oh my God. Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I go ham on some John Hamm, though.
Exactly.
So there's a new season, and you're super pumped.
Yeah, I'm really excited because the new season's coming directly to Netflix, so you don't have to wait for it to get, out on the BBC and then traverse the pond or whatever and come out over here. But the show itself is, like, amazing. It's dark, it's dystopic, it's incredibly tech and sci-fi centered. The first episode is... Do you remember, like, a year or 2 ago, there was, like, a rumor going around that David Cameron had, like, sucked off a pig or something like that?
I don't even know who David Cameron is.
David Cameron was the former Prime Minister of Britain.
Okay.
And the show it's English, so...
Okay.
Yeah. So there was this rumor going around...
That he sucked off a pig.
The very first episode of Black Mirror is eerily similar to that because these cyber terrorists take his daughter hostage and force him to fuck a pig.
And this is a BBC television show.
Yes. Force him to fuck a pig on national television in England. And it ruins his career, but he has to do it in order to get his daughter away from these cyber terrorists. Like, that's the premise of the first episode. And every episode is different because they're all, like, vignette stories. They're their own self-contained things. But they deal with issues of identity, like not knowing who you are, who the people around you are. It's all about technology bringing us all together, but also tearing us apart on a human level. It's really deep, it's dark, it's disturbing, but it's so good.
Are they related in any way? Are there any, like, returning characters or any themes or...
I mean, the themes are pretty much constant. It's basically what I just talked about. But yeah, it's dark, it's
highly
disturbing.
recommended by you then.
It's
right?
it's very good.
Okay.
It's a little horrifying sometimes. But,
so when is that? Is it already out?
No, I think it's been announced that it's either coming out early next year or late this year.
Black Mirror, everybody.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked it out, do it, because he said so.
Yeah.
All right, so prominent comic book artist Alan Moore has announced that he's going to retire from comics.
Yeah, he's finishing up a couple of things. I think he's still writing The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so he's going to finish that run up, do another couple of smaller things with some people. But yeah, officially retiring from writing comic books.
What are some of your favorite Alan Moore moments or stories or books? Because I've read Killing Joke, I've read The Watchmen, I read V for Vendetta. all of those I read before I saw the
movies.
the movies.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've read anything else by him. Have you?
Yeah. I think honestly, The Watchmen is the only one of his that I've actually legit read.
Mm-hmm. He's notoriously against adaptations being made of his works,
and yet, like, almost all of his best known works have been adapted.
Right.
Watchmen, V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is a movie that a lot of people hate. I know it's not a good movie, but I still love that movie. I hate watching that movie.
I never saw it. I remember whenever it came out, my dad being excited about it for a while, but I don't even remember if he saw it once it finally did, and I never have watched it, and I've seen a lot of bad things said about it, so I'm just kind of like, whatever.
It is not a good movie.
But I have heard that they might possibly revisit that in a movie form, though.
Yeah, I had heard something about that as well. I would be interested in that.
Isn't Peta Wilson in that movie?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, dude, she was La Femme Nikita on the USA television series.
I don't know what that is.
I'm pretty sure she's blonde, Russian, I think.
She might have played Mina Harker,
Probably.
I guess.
Probably. You never saw La Femme Nikita?
No.
You're just too young, man.
Yeah.
You're just too young. All right, so Alan Moore, bye.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean,
I mean,
we all got to quit sometime. Dude, there was this Alan Moore documentary thing on Netflix, and
he seems like an odd guy.
this was whenever I was still on like the mail me DVDs plan.
Oh yeah.
And I remember getting it and watching it and probably making it through like 30 minutes because I think it's like he made it himself. It's like inside the mind of Alan Moore, and it's just like an acid trip. Like it's just videos of it's just like single shots of him, and he's just going off on God knows what. But it's so boring and just literally unwatchable. I think I mailed it back that day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how I feel about Alan Moore. I mean, yeah, he's done some good stuff.
And there are not a lot of great adaptations of his stuff. V for Vendetta is probably the single best adaptation of one of his works that exists because at least it almost kind of stays true to the story.
Dude, Watchmen, especially if you watch the extended cut. I mean, really, the only differences between Watchmen and the comic is that at the end, it's a giant squid monster instead of like a nuclear bomb or whatever in the movie. But yeah, there's, especially if you watch it with the animated pirate movie that they put out alongside it. Oh yeah,
because I need to see this version,
right?
Then
because in the comic books of Watchmen, there's this whole pirate story that goes on while it's like this kid reading it, and then they made that into an animated movie.
Nice. And
released it on video when the Watchmen was released in the movie theater. And I think there's some versions of that have that cut into it.
Dude, okay, see, and that's almost exactly what I felt the Watchmen movie was missing. Because after I read the book, the entire Watchmen storyline, was like the parallels between the story and the status of humanity just continues to become interwoven and intermeshed, and that's what the original cut of the movie was missing then. So now I really need to see these other cuts that have that story woven back into it.
Yeah, check it out if you get a chance. And I think there might be an extended version of it on Netflix, but it's probably something you could rent or download. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Moving on. They announced the iPhone 7 over the week.
Yeah.
Some bit of controversy surrounding that because apparently there's not going to be a headphone jack anymore, and people are flipping out.
I mean,
you're an iPhone user. I'm not. So
yeah, I already don't like the shape of iPhone earbuds because they don't fit in my ears at all. So I mean, I don't really care.
But it can be used with any kind of earphones, though. You could plug the earphones you have on right now into your phone as it is, right?
Because it has a jack.
If you get the new iPhone, you'll have to either use third-party Bluetooth headphones or use their $169 earbuds
that only have a battery life of like 5 hours.
Right, or you can use the dongle that is provided with it. and
The
that you plug a
dongle?
3.5 millimeter jack into it. Yeah, it's actually going to come with a way to hook headphones up.
Oh, that's not.
And
that's not
and
too
that's
bad,
something
then.
that a lot of coverage of it I've seen just omitted.
Mm.
But it's going to come with a dongle, but it plugs into the charging port, and then you plug the headphones into that.
Mm.
So it sounds to me like you're not going to be able to charge it and listen to wired headphones at the same time, unless there's some kind of like third-party splitter or something that comes out.
Yeah.
But apparently it took a lot of courage to get rid of the 3.5 millimeter jack. Was that what was said? That's the meme I keep seeing, is that it's like we took a lot of courage to do this, but we're not going to put the headphone jack on it. But did you see the Samsung announced the S8 or whatever, and it's got like 5 headphone jacks on it? The meme, it's hilarious. But they would do something like that. Now we've got 2 headphone jacks. But hey, the big version of the iPhone comes with 2 cameras that can simulate a depth of field.
Shoot
yeah.
3D video.
I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But that sounds pretty cool. But the biggest announcement is there's a Mario game coming out.
A Mario runner.
Shigeru Miyamoto himself
Yeah.
made an appearance and spoke to the crowd, and they announced Super Mario Run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a runner, run jump game. You don't control him going back and forth or anything like that, but it does feature Mario, and it looks a lot like a Mario game.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It does.
And this is unprecedented because I think up until now, the only Mario games that were available on systems other than Nintendo systems were Mario Teaches Typing on the PC, and then they had, Hotel Mario on the CDI.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we haven't seen. This is unprecedented because Nintendo, they guard their IPs very fiercely.
Oh, yeah.
And now they've put out the Miitomo app. They've got a hand in Pokemon Go, and now they've got a Mario app going out to the iPhone. And hopefully, eventually, it'll come to Android, which I believe the new system is based off Android.
Mm.
But anyway, what do you think about that? Do you think this is a time that Nintendo's going to experience a revitalization in their brand?
I don't think that a Mario runner for a phone OS is going to turn around the entire being of Nintendo's
Not
fortune.
just, this is the thing, and I'm not saying it's just Mario on the iPhone, but think about Mario on the iPhone and Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
And the new console that's coming out.
Yeah.
And the new Zelda game that stole the show at E3. And Reggie, the of Nintendo of America, being like, hey, we fucked up with the Wii U and we're going to do better from here on out. Even though I particularly love that system, it wasn't marketed well.
Yeah.
But we could really see a turning around for Nintendo. And they could possibly take that seat back as at least a major player, because they've kind of fallen to third place.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Sega after the Dreamcast failed. I mean, you didn't see them really come back in any real way.
But this is different. This is Nintendo.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
They have the strongest market for handheld games as far as non-mobile games with the 3DS. They have no competition. The Vita failed. Every handheld system that has come out failed. Yeah. Except for the Game Boy, the Game Boy Advance, the DS, the 3DS, all of those. And now with the NX, what apparently the NX has not been officially announced, but from the news and rumors that you hear about it, it's a console handheld hybrid. Okay, the console is built in apparently to the handheld system with the screen on it and everything, but there's detachable controllers on it. And you can hook it up to your TV. I think it comes with a dongle. That maybe just streams the signal to your TV. I'm not sure. And it's going to be cartridge based.
Ooh.
So I'm assuming like 3DS style cartridges in it. But it's going to be HD graphics on the handheld and on the TV. And it's going to be one of those things that you can finally take it with you and play it at home. And it's going to be console quality games, home console quality games in a handheld hybrid. So we're going to see how that does. Because it seems like they're kind of merging their two things here together.
That has, honestly, though, that has been like their biggest problem in the last couple of years. Again, with the kind of failure in the marketing standpoint from the Wii U for sales, but the very fact that the 3DS is easily the only viable option if you want mobile gaming.
Right.
So, if they're trying to combine like the power of the Wii U, which is a good console. Like, I enjoy playing games on the Wii U, but I don't own one. It's cost prohibitive for me. I don't make a lot of money.
Buy one refurbished off of Nintendo's website. That's what I did.
Yeah. But I also don't own a 3DS, and I would love to own a 3DS.
Right.
But like a combination of those two, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds exactly like what Nintendo does need to do.
Right, and we're talking like Pokemon official games that you can actually play on your TV.
Yeah.
As opposed to all the real Pokemon games have all been on handheld. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait till they announce exactly what the NX is going to be and what it's going to do. And I really wish the best of luck to them, even though, and I don't know if you know this, but apparently Nintendo has so much money in the bank. They could go for another like 15, 20 years and not turn a profit before they'd be in trouble.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Good on Nintendo. Damn.
Yeah. Well, think about it, man. You had the NES, which was wildly, insanely popular, the Game Boy, and then you had the N64, the GameCube, which didn't really, neither of them had as much of an impact as like the Super Nintendo and the NES. But then you had the Wii, which is one of the biggest selling consoles of all time.
Yeah, that is true.
Which was basically sold as a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, and then the Wii U kind of took that and got a little bit more serious with the gameplay, but nobody paid attention because it was just, they shouldn't have named it the Wii U. They should have marketed it different, but, you know, hindsight's 2020, I guess.
Always, yeah, always. Although, like, I thought that the 64 had a little bit more of an impact than you're suggesting it did.
I'm just saying it's not as huge as the Wii or the NES.
Yeah.
Or the Super Nintendo, for that matter.
Right. I owned a gray box NES.
Right, because after the Super Nintendo came out, then you got PlayStation.
Yeah.
Then when the PlayStation 2 came out, whenever GameCube was out, then you got Xbox.
Yeah.
And PlayStation. And then you also had, don't forget, Sega Saturn and Dreamcast in those generations as well.
Yeah.
So it got real crowded there for a while.
Yeah, I owned gray box PlayStation, PS2, and a 64, and I played the shit out of Super Smash Brothers and Legend of Zelda.
Right. Well, Nintendo has the best first party games.
Yeah,
the best intellectual properties.
They really do. They make bank not only on the sales of the Wii originally, but also all those IPs.
And they make 2-player games. Not just multiplayer, but games you can actually play sitting next to somebody on the couch. And they market towards more of a family-friendly type audience, which is going to help them with the younger gamers.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that most kids coming up these days, some of their first consoles are going to be Wii U's, Wii's, 3DS's, you know, all those kind of things. So they're going to grow up with those characters, but in a different way than we did.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would love if, like, the 3DS or the NX, if the NX does end up being that kind of handheld and console hybrid like they're talking, like, I would love for that to just introduce a whole new generation of gamers to the great intellectual properties that Nintendo owns. I feel like that would be...
It's going to happen anyway, I think.
Only
I think they're
good.
so iconic that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Especially when you think of like the NES Classic coming out, which apparently some pre-orders of that for certain retailers have already been sold out.
Yeah.
Comes out next month. So,
Wow.
or no, November. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about another video game system, PS4 Pro and the Slim, just announced by Sony.
And I really don't know much about
Right. Well,
this.
basically the PS4 Slim is the new PS4. Okay, which, hey, it's what, 4 years into the cycle of this generation? So, yeah, it's about time for them to come out with a Slim model that follows what they've been doing.
Yeah.
With the PS1, the 2, the 3. Okay. Going to have Really nothing different from the PS4 Slim, except I think it's going to be a 500 or a terabyte model that you can buy. It's going to be the new one. You're not going to be able to buy the old one anymore. I'm sure that some of the problems that have plagued the original PS4 owners, like myself, are going to be getting fixed. There's some certain things with like disk ejecting and stuff like that happens every once in a while, and there's fixes for it. Like you might have to slide the cover off and tighten this certain screw or whatever, and it's a pain in the butt. But other than that, I haven't had any issues with it. But I'm almost certain that those things would be fixed. It's going to be coming out at a price point of $299, and then I think maybe $50 more if you want the bigger size hard drive. That to me doesn't bother me because it's like, yeah, that's just going to be the slim model. But what else they're putting out is the PS4 Pro. Okay, now that is going to not have native 4K capability, but it's going to like up-res existing video games into 4K. But it's not going to be native 4K. What? So apparently there is going to be a difference. It's going to have this HDR, the hyperdynamic resolution, the color deepness or whatever, that it's going to be, was already announced on the Xbox One S or whatever, the Xbox Slim. It's going to have that, but then all the consoles are getting that functionality in a patch like in here in a couple weeks. So that's not that big of a deal.
Right.
It's going to have a 1 terabyte hard drive. That's going to be the only size that you can buy. It's fatter, and apparently it's going to run a little faster. And their line of thinking on the PS4 Pro, as I'm assuming is the same with the Xbox One, Project Scorpio, is that we want to offer these things as a placeholder for a next-gen console and possibly doing away with next-gen consoles or generations of consoles altogether. Think about your iPhone, okay? So you have the iPhone operating system, and it's backwards compatible. It's natively backwards compatible. It's built to be that way.
Yeah.
Right? So all these old apps that came out years ago when the iPhone first came out are still able to be played on your new iPhone, correct? Right. Now, old iPhones might not necessarily be able to play some of the new apps that are out either, right?
Yeah.
But they can always play the old ones. I think that's the direction that a lot of these console manufacturers are going to be going into. So it's basically going to be PC gaming.
Yeah.
Because all the PC is backwards compatible for the most part. I mean, if you want to talk about like emulating DOS and all that kind of stuff, that's a whole other discussion. But, you know, if they were designed for a Windows platform, they can be played in Windows. Yeah. It's the operating system. So basically what we're looking at is, instead of just the next generation, it's the PS5, well, this will be the PS4 S9 or whatever. And, you know, games for that will be supported with either a patch or they'll only be available for that app. I don't know. It's going to be weird, but I think the console industry as we see it is a little...
Well, okay, and we were just talking, when we were talking about Nintendo, we were talking about their combining handheld and consoles. So now do you think then PlayStation is trying to combine console and PC?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that the model of progression from one system to the next is changing to be similar to that of a PC or a phone, like Android operating system. Basically, you're going to have your PlayStation 4 operating system that's going to go through upgrades. So all the old stuff should still be able to be played. New stuff could be played on the old stuff with a patch or vice versa. And I think that's kind of the way that consoles are going to go from here on out.
So you're not suggesting that people are going to have to like buy a new video card or upgrade their RAM in their PlayStation?
Now, see, that's interesting that you asked that, because apparently there's been some rumors that Microsoft and Sony themselves both have been kind of pursuing that line of thinking about maybe modular upgrades to their consoles. I don't know if they think that's going to be beneficial, or if they do want to follow like the iPhone route, where they just put out here's the new iPhone, iPhone 7, here it is, but all the software is backwards compatible.
Right.
Yeah, you can still have the same alarm clock app that you've been using for 9 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. I think it would be hard to get console gamers to adopt any kind of modular upgrade without them just going to PC.
Yeah. Because at that point, I mean,
That's
why?
what you're doing.
Yeah, why would you?
And then you have access to Steam, which arguably is a better game marketplace.
Honestly, yeah, I love Steam.
They're running sales all the time, and
buy your games for dirt cheap and play them on any computer that you have access to your Steam account on.
Right.
As long as you download it. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that sounds like it'd be great if it was consoles, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Speaking of Sony, and a game that I'm really excited about coming out is Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. You and I both.
Put out a direct-to-video movie to kind of be a prequel, even though apparently it's supposed to be running at the same time as the main story of Final Fantasy 15 called Kingsglaive.
Yeah.
Right. There was some celebrity voices on there. Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Nice.
Sean Bean and Lena Headey, both of Game of Thrones fame and Lord of the Rings and Sarah Connor Chronicles. That was a great show starring Lena Headey as Sarah Connor.
There's no L.
What is it? Headey? Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Heady.
I don't care. It's Headley to me. All right, so Kingsglaive looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. And they're getting so good with computer animation that if you couldn't see the character's mouth or eyes, you would think you're looking at a real person.
Wow.
On some things. And they're getting real good with expressions. You know, there still is that whole uncanny valley where it just doesn't look right, but it's getting damn close.
Wow.
Beautiful movie. The story was really hard for me to follow, and I tried to watch it twice. Yeah, and that's just the thing. Even with like Advent Children and From the Spirit Within, when it came out in the movie theater, I went and saw it, and it's just hard to get into those movies.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I saw both the Spirits Within.
They're fun to watch. They're just like, oh, this is great. But
I actually really enjoyed Advent Children.
Yeah. But I mean, it carries on the original characters, and you're familiar with what's going on.
Exactly.
And with like the Kingsglaive movie, it doesn't give you any kind of exposition
say,
up front.
We have
it just throws you right into what's going on.
We have no information really on this game yet, as far as like the greater stories. So
anyway, I mean, I'd recommend it if you want to watch something, really pretty, and if you like Final Fantasy 15, and I'm sure once I've played the game,
you'll understand. I will
understand the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
But even after 2 viewings, it's really hard to tell you exactly what's going on. I mean, there's a battle, there's a king, there's a power struggle between this kingdom and this other kingdom, and they're trying to make these deals and wed off their children and everything. But then there's this group called the Kingsglaive, which is like the elite fighting force of this kingdom, and they also have magical powers, and there's a lot of fan service to the Final Fantasy fans because it shows them using spells that you are used to using in the games. And they talk about chocobos and Gil and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely all in there, and the music is fantastic. The voice acting is great. It's just sometimes there's just so much going on at once that it's really hard for me to, really keep track of it. But maybe that's just because I'm old. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like you're not aided in any way based on how much actual information we have about the Final Fantasy 15 universe.
Right. And I'm sure I could be more informed if I just dug a little deeper.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a wiki out there that has all of this information and just tells you like the life history of this king.
But who's got that kind of time when Star Trek Online was just released on PS4?
Are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. I forgot to talk about it before we started recording, but totally. All right, Star Trek Online is an MMORPG, free to play. And I don't know if it was free to play when it first came out, but it was whenever I first played it on PC, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I played the shit out of it, man. I really enjoyed it for a long time. I think it got to the point where I had to format my hard drive or something and then just never bothered to reinstall it. Is the only reason I stopped playing.
Yeah.
But it was just announced. See, I still get emails from the final Star Trek Online community or whatever,
right?
Where you sign up for them. So it said in the subject about PS4, and I was like, "Oh snap!" And so I downloaded it. Like immediately went to the PlayStation Store and started downloading it. And of course, I couldn't play my old character from the PC version, but I was able to start a new character and was able to play pretty much the day of release. There was some issues with the server being down Tuesday night, which I was like, well, WTF. But I'm already up to level 28 now. I have like 3 or 4 ships. You get a new ship every 10 levels, but then you also get like ships as kind of prizes. But my first ship was the USS Heisenberg. It's Breaking Bad reference for you there. My second ship was the USS Obama. Because I think in the future, I think he probably would have a ship named after him.
Yeah,
and
I can see that. I can see that.
For my third ship is the USS Hill Dog. Which, do you remember the South Park episode? Yeah.
She's got a snook up her sniz.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, I'm not really a fan of Hillary, but I was just trying to think of something funny.
Right.
So I don't know. What should I name my next ship? Once I get it.
You could name it after Donald Trump.
I guess so.
President Donald Trump. It's seeming more and more
Ivanka.
likely. The Ivanka.
Named after his daughter or wife or whatever.
Melania.
Oh yeah, I don't know who.
The SS Melania Trump.
Yeah. So Star Trek Online is so Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's the Star Trekiest Star Trek game I've ever played.
Okay, and I will quickly jump in and say, after you told me last week that Star Trek Online was available, I was like, okay, I'll check it out.
50th anniversary, dude, you got to do it.
Exactly. So I set my Xbox to download it because, again, it was simultaneously released on both PS4
which is
and
great.
Xbox One. So yeah, I started downloading it. I got home from the bar last night and it was, 2 a.m. I was shit-faced and I just made a character and played through the tutorial and I stayed up until 6 a.m.
Right.
playing Star Trek Online.
So what are some of your first impressions of Star Trek Online?
I mean, and granted, I've legitimately only played through the tutorial. I'm like level 3. I still have my starter ship.
Right. What'd you name it?
The Realization.
Okay.
Because I was thinking... you got the Enterprise, you've got the Discovery coming out here, you've got Voyager and...
The Epiphany.
Yeah.
That would be a cool ship.
That's not bad, yeah. That might be my second if
Maybe
I continue
it'll be
this
my
trend.
next one, but I don't know. I have a trend to continue too. Well, I don't know. Breaking Bad doesn't have anything to do with Obama.
I don't know. I would love to see President Bryan Cranston.
The Cranston.
He played LBJ in that HBO movie.
Right. So anyway, as far as when I'm talking about it, so Star Trek is like the scenarios you find yourself in, especially that first. Are you a Starfleet officer? So you already a captain then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you done any of the space combat, or has it all been on foot?
Yeah. No, I did because in the tutorial you're fighting off the Borg, so blowing up Borg ships and stuff, and then a cube appears out of nowhere. It's, oh shit! I'm
just
gonna
like
die.
Something that would be out of a movie. I love it. It's great, and it's just really super Star Trek. The graphics are not any better than they were, I think, 4 years ago. Whenever I started playing,
they're not bad either.
Terrible.
Yeah,
and it's free.
Yeah,
that's the best thing. So I don't have to worry about I spent $60 to play this game. I didn't spend anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And that sometimes I think is the silver lining of free to play MMOs because you don't have to spend money on them. I think I leveled 2 different characters up to 60 on DC Universe Online over the past few years that I've played that game off and on. So.
Yeah, I think my highest level character in the DC Universe game was like 10.
Yeah. I remember whenever my roommate had a PS3 and I made a villain character and her name was Nina Levin.
Okay, that's really ironic considering we're recording this podcast on 9/11.
9/11. I was just, hey, what better name for a villain than 9/11?
Osama bin Laden?
I guess. I'm just saying.
9/11.
9/11. All right, so Star Trek Online. Anything else you want to say about that? Are you going to keep playing or what?
Yeah, probably.
Cool.
Because I'm not really playing much of anything else right now. My cousin left his PS3, so I've been playing Infamous. Oh. The first one, last couple of days. It's not great. It's not a good game. So
another game coming out that you're all excited about is some Mass Effect game? I don't know.
The latest in the Mass Effect
Never
series.
played Mass Effect, if you can believe it or not.
We going to talk about that next?
Yeah.
All right, so Mass Effect It's a great series of games. The first one came out in, I think, 2007.
The only thing I know about Mass Effect is that you can fuck pretty much anybody.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Kirk fucks.
Yeah. Hashtag Kirk fucks.
Yeah.
Hashtag Shepherd fucks.
Yeah, there you go. So what is this, like a first-person shooter or a third-person?
It's a third-person shooter. Space exploration, grand battles in space, conspiracy, space, like
stuff.
It's like in some aspects, it's like Space Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But like, and that's
maybe I should play this.
That's
game.
a really like, it's not accurate, but it's kind of accurate.
Could you see them doing a successful series of Mass Effect on television like they've done with Game of Thrones?
I don't know, honestly, because the stories of the games are so linked, but since it's a video game, most of the action of the game itself is, through the game mechanics.
Right.
So, you've got all these cool space laser battles that you're fighting, on the ground. That's the majority of what you're going to be doing in Mass Effect. There is a story, and the story is pretty great until you get to the end of the third game.
And then it's pretty shit.
Yeah, because the original ending for Mass Effect 3 is really bad.
And what do you mean original? They've changed it?
Yeah, they released a patch that changed the ending, and that was still also bad. So...
So what would be the perfect ending to Mass Effect 3 then? Don't worry about spoiling anything for me, because I don't care.
Yeah. Well, plus I think it's only on Xbox, so I don't think you could play it even if you wanted to. But, ideally, because from the very beginning of the story, you're setting out to destroy these Reapers that are coming to wipe out all life in the galaxy.
Okay.
You discover this conspiracy plot to bring the Reapers into the galaxy so that they can just wreck shit up. You discover this in the first game. You stop that plot by defeating their indoctrinated slave that has been working towards bringing the Reapers into the galaxy. You stop him in the end of the first game. You die immediately at the beginning of the second game and are reconstructed by this shadowy Earth organization called Cerberus. And you're then fighting off another plot to get the Reapers into our galaxy. This time with the enemies being called the Collectors. They are kidnapping humans so that they can build a human Reaper hybrid, which the story of 2 is kind of weird like that, because why would you build a human Reaper hybrid? That doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
The ultimate killing machine.
Yeah, exactly. So you stop the Collectors in 2. At the beginning of 3, they show up anyways, the Reapers do, and then
so it's all been for naught.
Yeah, because you're then fighting to save the galaxy while the Reapers are actively attacking and destroying every living creature in the galaxy.
Just being straight up assholes.
They are. No, they're straight up assholes. So yeah, then you have to, fight back against them, and once you get to the end of that game, you're given a choice by the computer that controls the Reapers. You're given a choice of destroying the Reapers, which has been your goal the entire time, but destroying the Reapers kills you as well. Letting the Reapers just fucking do it, just wipe out all life in the galaxy, that's another option for you.
Okay.
Or creating a synthesis of artificial intelligence and organic life. Creating a synthesis. That is the other option.
So which one do you pick? The synthesis option?
I think, naively, I picked the synthesis option in the first one, not realizing, the first time I beat Mass Effect 3, I picked the synthesis option, not realizing, at this point, you are forcing evolution onto literally every living being in the galaxy. Plants, animals, people, aliens, everything is being forcibly evolved into this hybrid form of organic life and artificial.
Effect?
No, that's actually referring to like how they travel, the Mass Effect drive and stuff like that. But
right.
But like I hadn't thought about that. I was like, no, that's just the best. That's just the best idea for everyone. And then organic and artificial life won't fight anymore. And you know, I was like really naive.
Wrong.
I was really naive about that. I was like, then I thought about it some more. I was like, shit, I'm a fucking asshole. Just forced all of these creatures to become partially cybernetic now. That's really...
So then you went back and chose the other option.
Yeah, it's either you destroy all artificial life in the galaxy and shut down the Mass Effect relays, or you let them do their thing and let the cycle continue, because like that's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. The Reapers come every 50,000 years and destroy all organic life in the galaxy.
See, that sounds like it should be the option that you pick then.
Right?
You just want the cycle to continue. So where does this other one start off then? Is it a different character?
It is a different character. It's a different galaxy entirely. It's called Mass Effect Andromeda. Mm-hmm. So it takes place in the Andromeda galaxy instead of our Milky Way galaxy.
Oh, and the Reapers are coming for their galaxy, huh?
I have no idea. Oh. I have no idea.
Would you be a little pissed off if that was the story, though?
That would be kind of fucked up, yeah.
Well, keep me updated on it, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, it looks gorgeous. I saw a teaser trailer featuring 4K video of Andromeda. Still haven't seen any of how the combat's going to work, so I'm a little concerned about that.
Point and shoot, man.
Yeah, well, problem with... Because the combat in Mass Effect, the first one, is the worst, second worst part of that game. Driving around in the Mako on the planets is the worst part of that game. But gradually, the combat mechanics got better in those games. The stories got worse, but the combat mechanics got better. So it's kind of an inverse thing, yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with Mass Effect Andromeda, but I haven't seen any combat yet, so I'm still concerned.
Okay, well, good luck. All right, so let's talk about DC. Because apparently they're not going to be all dark and gritty anymore. They've decided against that.
I don't know. Zack Snyder is still directing the Justice League movie.
Right, but Jeff Johns has... What do we have to say about him?
Jeff Johns he's like the head of DC Comics already, right? Like, he's somebody really important in the actual comics side, and they have now put him in charge of the DC movie universe. Right. So
this happened a little while back.
Yeah, this was a month or two ago. And of course he, being the comics guy, now has control over the DC extended movie universe. So he knows what needs to happen in order to make these movies more like the comics.
Right.
Less like Zack Snyder's Murderverse, more like the comics. It's got to
be dark and gritty and
yeah, I mean, people took the wrong lesson from Christopher Nolan's Batman movies.
Yeah, and how are you going to have how are you going to have like a Superman and Wonder Woman in that universe, in Christopher Nolan's universe?
Yeah.
You just can't.
No, because, I mean, all of the enemies in that movie are very human.
Very, very human, yes.
That's the purpose of them being the enemies. They're all very human. The Atlanteans, fucking Kryptonians, fucking...
Green Lantern.
Yeah. None of that
Martian
can exist.
Manhunter.
None of that can exist.
You just can't do it in that same style. And then so to make it like the super stylized, really super dark, joyless depression of a movie like Batman v Superman just took a problem that didn't exist and made it even worse.
Exactly.
Because it's not like people aren't finding comic book movies not believable. That doesn't matter. Marvel is colorful. Marvel is funny. Marvel's characters give you a sense of hope and entertainment, and it's good storytelling, and it's good directing, and it's all these things. But then you get movies like Batman v Superman, which is just sad. but not like a drama.
Yeah, it's not sad in a
It's
good
just,
way. It's just
God.
like, I'm sad that I'm sitting here watching
I'm sad
this.
that this exists. And, Suicide Squad, I still liked it. But it wasn't, like we had said in the review, it wasn't the movie that's going to turn everything around for them.
Exactly.
And I'm wondering if Wonder Woman is going to have any impact on that at all.
And that brings us back to Jeff Johns and what he was saying about his involvement in the DC extended film universe now. So, now that photography, all the work has been done on Wonder Woman, of course they went back, they had some reshoots. Jeff Johns had some impact on
maybe
how
they did some color correction, be like, let's not make it look as sepia toned, please.
Exactly, yeah. So he went in, he helped edit that movie a little bit, he has helped with rewrites, he's helped bring that Wonder Woman movie into a new realm of possibility. Because like the article that I shared on our Facebook page, again, give us a like if you like.
Yeah.
But the article that I shared, Jeff Johns on the DCEU, don't worry, we're changing everything.
Right. And they kind of need to.
Yeah.
They kind of came out of the gate really bad.
Yeah.
And finally, they are realizing the error of their ways. It only took 3 failed movies to see that.
But like one of the biggest announcements that I saw that I hadn't heard yet out of this article was that you remember Justice League was supposed to be a 2-part movie, like the Avengers Infinity War thing.
Yes.
They were going to split it into 2 movies for some reason.
Right.
It is 1 movie now.
Good.
It is only 1 movie.
It only needs to be 1 movie.
Right?
And
I mean, it's
shouldn't have been...
Darkseid. It's Darkseid. Yeah, you can deal with Darkseid in 1 movie.
And how... Well, I thought it wasn't Darkseid. I thought it was Darkseid's minion. I can't remember the name. And they won't be showing us Darkseid in this one, is what I was under the impression.
Well, and again, that was probably the original plan. They deal with Darkseid's minions and stuff in the first Justice League movie, and then Darkseid himself in the second. But now they're probably condensing that story. I mean, it's kind of unnecessary to have them deal with Darkseid's minions when you've got the entire Justice League. You've got the Flash. You've got, well, at this point, I guess you don't have the Green Lantern, but you've still got Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and Cyborg.
What do you think about making sure that these movies are contained into their own separate slots? Okay, so think about it this way. You've got Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. You've got Thor. You've got Thor the Dark World. You've got Thor Ragnarok coming out. You've had Captain America the Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War. You had Man of Steel, and then you had Batman v Superman. Was Batman v Superman a Superman movie or a Batman movie? And I'm thinking, why not keep everything contained in their own little box as far as those movies go, and then you have that big Justice League like the Avengers, because Marvel isn't really doing that. If you've noticed, they have their properties that have their own movies, then they have their Avengers. That brings it all together.
Except for Civil War.
But Civil War was a Captain America movie.
It was also an Avengers movie.
But was Batman v Superman a Justice League movie? Or was it a Batman movie? Or was it a Superman movie?
And that is almost an impossible question to answer, because it was both a Batman and a Superman movie. Also, Wonder Woman was there.
But unlike Captain America Civil War, that story was still told from Captain America's perspective.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part.
There was
still
a lot of
Captain America-centric story.
Yeah. Because
Which is why I disagree with the Avengers.
Well, I mean, and fair enough, yeah. But, if it hadn't had as much following Tony and Vision and Scarlet Witch, their whole story back at the Avengers compound. If it had only focused on Cap trying to find Bucky, yes, absolutely, it's a Captain America movie. But it had so many scenes that went back and forth to, to Vision, to Tony talking with Black Widow.
But they all affected Captain America. And
you had Baron Zemo in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Deathstroke
Yeah.
is going to be in the new Batman movie.
Yeah, somehow we got started talking about
played
Marvel.
by True Blood guy.
Joe Manganiello.
Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello.
Did you watch True Blood?
I watched the first 4 full seasons of True Blood, and then I started watching season 5, and something happened. I never
something
got to
happened.
finish it.
I think it was like either season 4 or season 5 for me. I just kind of stopped caring.
Yeah, like once they introduced Christopher Maloney from Law and Order SVU as like the big bad vampire bad guy, like I was just like, okay, I like this guy as an actor. I'm kind of interested, but I got distracted. I started doing something
even
else.
Get as far as you did.
Yeah,
but dude, Chris Maloney was in Oz. Did
really?
you ever watch Oz?
No, I never got to watch Oz.
Oh my god! If you want to talk about a great HBO series, Oz. I've watched it from start to finish.
Nice.
It is a fantastic show. But anyway, so Deathstroke and Batman. Do you think Ben Affleck is directing the Batman movie? He's writing it. He's obviously a competent director. He's an Oscar-winning director.
Jeff Johns is writing it.
Really?
Yeah. That was another thing that was talked about in that.
Batfleck had a big part in writing this movie.
I mean, he's probably co-writing it with Jeff Johns, but that was one of the things that was announced in that article that I was talking about earlier. Jeff Johns is writing the Batman movie, probably with Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck, of course, is starring and directing.
So how do you feel about Deathstroke being a villain?
Deathstroke
probably
is
the main villain, I would assume.
Yeah, almost certainly, because Deathstroke is a great villain. He's Deadshot, but better. Much better.
Well, he's Deadpool. Slade Wilson, Deadpool was modeled after Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So do you think that had anything to do with them picking Deathstroke as being...
If Deathstroke was a less serious character...
Deadpool, I'm not saying that they're going to try and make Deathstroke Deadpool.
God, I hope they don't.
With Deadpool being as huge as he was, and knowing that Deadpool was a parody of Deathstroke, do you think that might have influenced their decision at all to put Deathstroke in the next solo Batman film?
That sounds like an amazing conspiracy theory that I hope is absolutely true. I love it.
I'm just saying. They're like, well, Deadpool's popular. Why not do Deathstroke? Fuck it. I mean, how would you feel if they gave Deathstroke the Deadpool treatment, though?
I honestly... Dude, if he's just like running around, you see him just brutally murdering everyone, like... I would be all right with that being in the Zack Snyder Murderverse, because that is at least appropriate. So
do you think they're going to start with the Batman movie or the Justice League to try and tone it down, or what?
I feel like...
It's too late for Wonder Woman.
Well, I feel like they're going to at least start trying with Wonder Woman, so we might see a little bit, because it is, I mean, it's an entirely different location, it's an entirely different time, because it takes place during, World War II or World War I? I can't remember which one, but...
I think they can find a way to make World War I or II dark and dreary. And
depressing. I can't imagine how they would do that. I can't imagine how they would do that.
All right, so the last thing we want to talk about today is... the lost episode of Doctor Who, Power of the Daleks, is being released by the BBC in animated form using the original audio from the episode. Now, that's the episode where Patrick Troughton is regenerated from William Hartnell. I almost said the wrong way.
Right. But it is Patrick Troughton's first...
appearance.
It's his first appearance. It's his first journey, his first adventure as the Doctor.
Right. Now, here's the thing, man. Now, there already are fan animations of this story that you can watch right now.
Nice.
Not as good of quality as the trailer that we saw for the Power of the Daleks, but they're there. Do you think that may have influenced their decision to go ahead and go through with doing a full-on animated version of it?
Well... possibly, but I think the biggest part is that November 5th of this year is the 50th anniversary of that episode airing.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think that's probably the primary. Like, once they realize that, we might be able to monetize this, people are going to want to see it because it's classic and it hasn't been seen on a television in almost 50 years.
And that's so crazy to me. Think that the BBC had a practice in place of recording over their old shows or destroying them and not keeping them for posterity's sake. Because a lot of American television is still archived, okay? But for some reason, they didn't have the foresight to think about home video and reruns and all that kind of thing. So they recorded over it or destroyed it.
Yeah, it was the 60s. Like, those things didn't exist yet.
Yeah, and that's what I said. They didn't have the foresight to even think about it. But, man, I guarantee you, if they could go back in time to say, hey, we need to take care of these and keep them pristine quality, because eventually they could do like HD remasters and all that kind of crap and could be pretty impressive. But they just didn't think that there would be a market for this children's show, soap opera, television show. They just didn't. But now, I mean, I just couldn't imagine how much money the BBC makes just off of DVD sales, book sales. Audio dramas are a huge thing in the Doctor Who community. I mean, you have people that have been playing the Doctor for years still playing their doctors in these audio dramas, and you don't have any other show really that does that, do they? Does Star Trek have audio dramas? Because Star Trek just got their 50th anniversary. We had Doctor Who's 50th anniversary, 4 or 5 years ago?
2013.
Yeah, 2013, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when the Doctor Who 50th anniversary aired and all that. It was great.
Yeah.
But Star Trek, they're not even making, they didn't even make a big deal about it.
They didn't do anything for the 50th anniversary this year. Because that was last week.
Because, I mean, think about it. Star Trek is the closest that America has to, like, their version of a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, we do have Star Wars, too, but think about it. You have 8 or 7 movies right now that you got to watch, and maybe 2 television series on Star Wars. And then you've seen all the stuff. With Star Trek, it's like 7 or 8 different series.
Yeah.
13 movies.
With hundreds of episodes.
Yeah. And an animated series.
Yeah.
And another series about to start. And a whole reboot trilogy as well.
Yeah.
On top of all the different movies. And you would think that, I think, what was it, ABC or CBS just put out a little happy 50th video, only using footage from a handful of the movies and from Next Generation. They didn't show anything from like Deep Space Nine or Voyager or Enterprise, and all those series ran for multiple seasons. It wasn't like some flash in the pan, one season only kind of thing. Star Trek has a built-in audience. And they're doing this new series where, the first episode is broadcast on CBS and then the rest of it's all online only?
I hadn't heard that. That sounds dumb as shit.
I know. It's just like, they want to have so much control over the Star Trek brand that they've released rules that you have to go by if you're going to do any kind of fan video or fan fiction or anything like that. Yet they're not paying it the proper respect that it deserves as a piece of iconic history in our country's television.
Right.
Okay. And I know it has a stigma of being like super nerdy, because it is super, super fucking nerdy.
Yeah.
I mean, Star Wars versus Star Trek, you've got like the cool action, lightsaber battles and stuff. And then you've got Star Trek, which was more like really like procedural military, really it is.
Yeah, no.
If you think about it.
Very much so. But it's also sort of
television too.
Well, and anti-violence ultimately, because yes, I know the original series was a lot more rough and tumble, but in the end, though, they try to find a diplomatic solution before anything else.
Well, you remember the film theory I sent you about the Jokers? They just put out one about why the Federation is fascist. You should definitely watch that.
Yeah, I've got to check that one out.
It'll make you totally put a new spin on it. Because he's saying that all the Star Trek stories we have are always told from the perspective of the Federation. You never see it from the Klingons or the Romulans or the other peoples.
No, that's absolutely true.
And apparently, and they mentioned a line that Scotty said to Jayla in the last...
in Beyond.
in Beyond, about how, one stick will break, but a bundle of sticks is strong. And apparently that's like something that was actually said by
like Mussolini
like,
or something
in like maybe France or Italy or something like that. And apparently the Communist Party in that one country that he mentioned, I can't remember, is an actual bundle of sticks that their symbol, for a while was. So think about it.
Yeah, that's slightly terrifying. The Star Trek movies and TV series that we all know and love are secretly fascist
and
propaganda.
they were talking about how, like, in the Star Trek, the reboot, Spock just jettisons Kirk into a uninhabitable planet for not following the rules. He's just like, fuck it, you're done. No court-martial or anything, just like, boom.
Right, yeah.
You tried to mute me, you're done. Yeah. All right, I think that's it for this week.
All right. Had a lot of fun today.
Yeah,
we
like,
had a
follow,
good show.
subscribe,
Yeah.
comment, whatever. It is what it is, right? All right. Have a happy 9/11.